looking at the undisputed greatest middleweight in the world at present.
Can stop that man.
I'm looking for your Chael Sonnen. I'm looking for someone who literally puts his finger in your chest and puts you under some pressure, because someone needs to have that self-belief, and I'm not saying it from anyone.
Oh! Knockdown for Adesanya! That is it! Still undisputed!
Chimaev's called you out.
That's a guy that definitely I'd like to fight. He will bring in a lot of eyes. He's the guy that would exactly do what you said.
He has the self-belief.
That's how it all starts.
Yeah.
And those are the ones who are crazy enough to make it happen.
I was in the nosebleeds, and now I made his nose bleed.
I'm a petty motherfucker. When Jordan in The Last Stand goes, and I took that personally, that's me.
They said I don't have no knockout power.
When I talk about the dark side, like, there's a place I have to go to. Like, my mom's accepted it now. She understands, like, 3 weeks out from the fight, if I'm not picking up her calls, don't take it personal.
Huge right for Adesanya.
Because I feel like I'm going to war.
Wow, what a fight! Get the bonus checks ready.
Yeah, and I'm in London town. Fuck, the tings. What's the paintings like, as they say? Is that a thing?
You had any luck with the ladies?
Nah.
You struggling? I think you could be struggling,
It's hard, man. It's hard to find people who really want you, I guess, for you. And also have someone who doesn't want to compete with you. This is not a competition. It's you're trying to be...
It's not a competition. I'm the champ. Come on.
First of all, you lose.
What was the last thing a girl did that you thought, you're a bit different, you?
Give a fuck.
Everyone watching at home, I love you all. Hey, shout out to the puppy. Mwah.
Life after fighting.
Thing is, I actually just want to start a family. That's me. But yeah, for me, I just don't want to have all this shit to deal with when I do that. I want to be able to be like, what do you want to do today? And just do whatever the fuck he or she wants to do that day.
Welcome back to the True Geordie Podcast, sponsored by Gymshark. Today's guest, it's the legend, the middleweight champion of the world, Israel Adesanya.
One day a legend, one day. Still working.
Oh, I think you're there, like.
I'm on my way, but still working.
You're getting compared to Silva a lot.
They've been doing that since my first fight.
Yeah.
I said this when I jumped in the UFC. I was like, because there's a lot of, he's like Silva 2.0, this and that. And I was like, just give it time. Those comparisons will fade away. And they did. Especially after I fought him. But I feel like I do hear those rumblings now because of how many title defenses I have. 5 title defenses. And I'm just like racking them up. But I'm like, because I'm still in it. You know, they say you can't see the forest for the trees. But I know where I want to be. But I just feel like, no, let me just work. Just stay tuned till I'm done. And then we can be like, right, now this is what you want to say about him. This is what you want to say about him.
I feel like it's unfair as well, because like we always romanticize the old guys of the past.
Yeah.
So like when GSP was in his prime, everyone was like, well, is he really Matt Hughes? You know, like, and now with Usman, everyone's like, well, he's no GSP.
Exactly.
And it's like, he's smashing guys. GSP never did that. Like,
100%.
But we have so much love for the old guys that you're never quite going to get that. But I think the fact that you fought him, and now you're doing things that, I think the fact that you went up and fought for the title, he never did that. Like, even you went for it, and even though it didn't quite come off, you were very close.
Yeah. He went up and fought at 205 a couple of times, James Irvin and Forrest Griffin as well.
It wasn't like the champions.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. But yeah, same with GSP. Even GSP, his last few fights, you know, I remember just the narrative was always just like, oh, he's boring. He's boring. He's this and that. I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? And this is me. I was never like, because I was always a Silva guy, so I was never the biggest GSP stan. But I respected his skills, and I was a fan of his fighting style still. So I think the one that made me really take notice and be like, okay, this guy is legit, was the Carlos Condit fight. How he took that head kick and then came back and then dominated Carlos. I was just like, yo, you have to give it up.
The boring thing, you're getting a bit of criticism now because you had the most entertaining fights, and almost to like an unattainable level to maintain. Like people are going to watch so much film on you, and they're going to adapt their style. How are you finding that criticism?
See, I kind of feel like to bring, you know, well, Silva, when he fought Talislatus, UFC 97, I remember after that fight, people were just like, oh, Silva's boring, he's this, he's that. But he fought Talislatus, who was a jiu-jitsu black belt, who was elite, but then he wasn't able to do what he normally did to everyone with Silva. you know, and people then just said, Silva's washed, he's trash. Yeah. And then he came back, UFC 101, and then starched Forrest Griffin in a spectacular fashion. People were just like, it's always recency bias. Same thing happened with me after my Romero fight. People were like, he just runs, he's this and that. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
That was right off the back of 3 amazing fights.
Exactly. And I was like, after what I've done for you fucks, this is how you pay me? So then for me, I came back with the Costa fight, and I did what I did. So it's always recency bias. With this fight, I felt I wanted to do better than I did because of how I beat him the first time. I knew what I could have done to him. And in the first round, I was on my way there. I still haven't watched the fight, but when I do, I'll be able to give you an honest assessment. But the way I feel, I know I won that fight, clearly. I know I won that fight. And I know, it was close in certain rounds, but I know I won that fight. Apparently his corner was telling him in between rounds, you're losing this fight, you need to da-da-da-da-da. So I'm like, well, how the fuck do you think you're winning a fight if your corner's telling you you're losing the fight?
Yeah.
You know, but so for me, I have to watch that fight again because my cameraman, Jeff, hinted at it to me about how I approach fights with different people. And there was something different with this fight than the first fight. And to be honest, to tell you what it was just ecstatic the way he approached me in this fight. The first fight, he was cheeky, he was being a little smart ass. You know, he thought Israel's not as good as he thinks he is. And I was like, I don't give a fuck, I'll show you. And he was a little bit cocky in his own way. This fight, he had none of that. He came in humble, somber, because I already whooped his ass. Even there was a bit when I first entered the octagon, I did my circle around the octagon, and then when I was kind of skipping past him, he puts his hand out, and then I slapped it, like almost reluctantly, like, what the fuck you want to shake my hand for? We're about to fight. Like, I don't like that. And I said, this is just me riffing right now. I don't know if fuck it, I'm just riffing, but like, I want to know what it's like to fight someone, even without static, and still be able to just take them out with that killer instinct. Because that's one thing my guy Jeff has said is like, you realize that it's whenever you have beef with someone, you don't really like someone, you have this different venom when you fight them. And yeah, I'm gonna tap into that. That's something I'm gonna work on for myself, some homework.
I feel like Silva was very good at that. We were talking about him earlier. Like he literally ripped the piss out of people right there in the middle of that octagon. Yeah. Even if they were respectful. Yeah. Like the way he humiliated Forrest Griffin when everyone liked Forrest. Yeah. It really made you go, yeah, you don't want to fucking get near him. And you have that in your toolbox, no doubt about it. But in this fight, I felt like Robert, he didn't approach you with a real belief that he could win. Yeah. And to me, I watched both fights back to back last night, and I thought, yeah, all right, he did worse. It ended worse for him in the first fight, but I respected that first fight a lot more because he was fighting with pure.
He's trying to win.
He fought with belief that he could win. Yeah. And to me, beating you, it's like you ever seen Batman, the Dark Knight Rises, where he jumps across, and he can only only win when there's no rope. Yes, and you have to fight you the same way. Like you're not gonna beat Israel Adesanya without actually risking you getting knocked out. Yep. And that's what Robert never did in this fight. He fought smart, but he fought with this thing of, I don't want to lose more than he wanted to win.
Exactly.
And with you,
Vittori did that as well.
Yeah, of course. That's why both fights were boring in the eyes of the fans, was because you just picked these guys apart with quite easily with those leg kicks and beat them up. But it wasn't as devastating as before because those guys weren't committing.
Exactly. Same thing, like I said, with what Silva ran into in UFC 97 with Talis Laters, and even UFC 90, that was the one with Patrick Corte. People were like, oh, he's not taking them out the same way, this and that. But it's like, no, these guys aren't they're trying to survive. They're not trying to win, they're trying not to lose. And there's a difference in that when the guy's like, not willing to take the risk. And I take risks, I take calculated risks, but then when I'm up, and I was really, I gave him PTSD in the first round. And one thing I regret not doing is asking my corner or even looking at the screen, because I didn't want to look at the past. That's what I told him in the first fight when I was like, don't look at the screen, look at me, I'm right now. But I wish I'd asked my corner, like, what did I drop him with? Because then they would have told me, left hand, you were southpaw. Boom, I can work off that. But I just think, I don't know, in the moment, I was just like, fuck, don't worry about that. Let's focus on touching him and doing what we do. Stick to the game plan. And yeah, last time I called an audible. We had a game plan, but I was kind of like, I'm not really feeling it in the moment. So I called an audible, and we just fought on the fly. This time, the Southpaw, I was feeling really good Southpaw. Even in the second, third round, I was feeling really good Southpaw, comfortable. But I was like, let's just stick to the game plan. So I went back to the game plan, and I wished I trusted my instinct more, because if I had known it was a Southpaw too that dropped him, I would have felt way more comfortable Southpaw like I already was. But I just went back to the game plan because I was like, okay, let's stick to the game plan and get to...
It was a great shot that dropped him. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, I've seen the highlights now.
Because he's got a good guard, and you come right through that
down
middle.
the center.
Precision.
And the thing is, it felt like nothing.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, did I drop him? And I was like, okay. And I was like,
it didn't look like your hardest shot, for sure.
I don't hit hard. Like I said, it was just sharp. Speed and just that precision. When I find a way to get through that guard and just boop. And I've seen the shot as well from different angles, and it was right down the middle. So, yeah, my one regret is definitely I wish I had just been like, what dropped them? And then not when guys like, what dropped them, and then that's all you see them throw for the next. That's not me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done that. But I just didn't want to focus on the past, so I was like, okay, let me focus on right now. But that would have been a smart thing to do. But in hindsight, you learn. This is part of the game. You learn.
Yeah, I noticed when you go Southpaw, you have this thing where you sort of keep your hand out and then you hit them with that leg kick every time. You love the low leg kick in Southpaw.
I destroyed him with the second leg kick, I believe. Second or third one. I remember he just picked his leg up different. I was like, ooh, that's hurting. That's already really hurting. So he was primed. He was ready for it. And that's why for me, myself, I won the fight. I know I did, but... That's why I'm kind of just like, because I expected better of myself. And I know people are criticizing me, but trust me, I don't give a fuck what they say. It's about what I say about myself. That's why I haven't watched the fight yet. So I'll watch it when I want to watch it, and I'll be like, right, let me have an honest look at this fight and see where could I have improved better, And like I said, Silva ran into this problem, and people talk shit about him and also his performances and whatnot. But then he always found a way. And I think I know how to tap into that in my own way. So that's one thing I'm grateful for is my insight, my objectivity, just to be able to sit down and just be like, let me have an honest look at this and see how I can improve better. And yeah, I'm going to do just that.
That's quite amazing that you've got that attitude, because obviously you've had so many kickboxing matches, you've had boxing matches, MMA fights, and you're still trying to grow. You talked about calculated risks. And when I actually watched your fight with a boxer who was like an Olympic level boxer. He was on about how shocked he was at your style, because he's like, God, this guy leans right back at the waist, chin in the air. And to him, he's like, I can't believe he gets away with this. But then I'm like, but watch, because you come with these hooks, and obviously that's how you finished him in the first fight. But this time he was catching you a little bit with that jab.
Yeah, he changed it up from a double jab to a triple jab, and that was what kind of like, okay, that gave me a little bit of a shine on this side.
He was feinting a little bit too.
Yeah, a little bit in the later rounds, and then I can't remember. It didn't throw me off in the way that I was like, oh fuck, oh shit. I still went back at him. I remember I jabbed him up a couple of times from what I recalled, and I went back to the leg kicks. But yeah, in time, I just have to watch that tape and just kind of, like I said, break it down properly.
What do you feel is next for you after that fight?
Jared. I want Jared next. So that excites me. Rob excited me, don't get me wrong. The exciting part about facing Rob again was the prospect of beating him worse than the first time. And I was really hell sent on that, man. I was like, I got to take him out. There's certain moments that I'll pick that no one else would know. No one else would know apart from me and Rob, or just me. And I'll be like, that was the moment. That was the moment I fucked that up. Damn. And I'll kick myself for it. But then, yeah. But I want Jared next. I like the idea of having like a new opponent, someone
fresh.
Exactly, someone that can give me. I've set Jared up before to fight me, but he didn't rise to the occasion in that fight. And then now this is his time. He rose to the occasion. Before at the weigh-ins, I said to him, I was like, look, please take this bum out just so I can get someone new. And he's like, bro, I'm trying to get this fight. I'm like, fuck yeah, me too. It'd be good to fight you. And I'm a man of my word, so yeah, he gets the next shot.
You've had a lot of rematches already, and then Darren Till didn't quite happen, unfortunately. We would have loved that in the UK.
I would love that here in the O2. That would be fucking awesome.
Blow the roof off that thing, and it just did happen. But we've
literally,
we're literally like we're looking for I'm looking for your Chael Sonnen. I'm looking for someone who literally puts his finger in your chest and puts you under some pressure, because the thing I'm looking at, even with Jared and a few of these other guys, is, do any of them really want to act like I'm going to beat this guy? Because they're all so aware of how good you are now. I feel like we've said earlier, they're coming in to survive, and I just don't think that's enough to beat you. Like, someone has to really, to elevate your star as well, we need that rivalry, that Aldo McGregor, Sonnen and Anderson. Like,
I agree.
I think that someone needs to have that self-belief, and I'm not saying it from anyone. I think if Darren had have continued winning, he would have come in strong, but obviously that didn't happen. So
yet it's still time. He's
yeah,
young.
I think there is time for him.
Yeah,
he's training with Chimaev.
Yeah.
Chimaev's called you out. Chimaev's talking about becoming a triple champion. He hasn't even won a single belt yet. What do you think of this guy?
I don't have to take him seriously till I have to take him seriously. And that's a guy that definitely I'd like to fight if he does what he says he wants to do, because guess what? He will bring in a lot of eyes. He's the guy that would exactly do what you said, and just like this, that, right.
He has the self-belief.
Exactly.
Even if it's, for all we know at this point, it could be delusion, because we've seen
that's
him
how it all starts.
Yeah.
And those are the ones who are crazy enough to make it happen. And he's on his way. But show me something first. Show me something that will make me. His last fight made me take notice. That was the one that I was like, ooh, I know how Jing Aliang is. He's good. You know, he's not like
he manhandled him, huh?
Beautifully. And I was like, yo, there was something he did in that fight. I won't give it away. But I was like, I like that. I was really impressed with. So that's what made me take notice of him properly. But at the moment, still, it's just barking in the wind, because who's he fought at 185? We'll see. Now, and I'm not saying he can't. Look, he can beat a lot of these guys at 185, a lot of the top guys from what I've heard. But let me see it first, and then we'll start talking, before all this hype around him.
Yeah, he's got a lot of hype for someone who hasn't had that many fights yet, and I think that's the thing.
Skills in the gift of the gab. He knows how to run his mouth.
Yeah, he sounds like a crazy person.
Yeah, we all do at some point. Yeah. But I like that. No, I like you said, a guy like Chael Sonnen, the guy that put their finger in your chest, and because I like that when someone brings that out of me as well, like Costa. When someone really, because I'm a nice guy, I chill. I'm real. I mean, contrary to popular belief, I'm very laid back in my own. But then when someone brings that out of me, that shadow self, I like to step into that. I like to tap into that and let them bring that forth, because then they get to play with the real me. You know what I mean?
That's a scarier version of you for sure.
But I mean, before that, I can still. I mean, this fight, just the Robert, like, you know, even at the press conference, he gave me nothing to play with. He was just like, well, we'll have a good fight, you know, blah, 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 blah.
I think that shows where his state of mind was. Like, I don't want to fucking wake up the beast here.
Exactly. Yeah. He knew. Because last time I'm a petty motherfucker, you know. I'm petty.
We've seen.
And I'm like, you know, when Jordan in The Last Stand goes, and I took that personally. That's me.
Mate, when you bend fucking Costa over like a bitch.
Him over. Yeah.
That was like
prison rules.
Jesus, like that was as humiliating as it's ever going to get.
That's like me being freestyling. He was just there. I'm the big dog in the yard now. So what does the big dog do when it wants to show dominance? Even a female dog does it. Just, you know, let him know. Double tap.
Because you talk about that spite, and that's what we love as fight fans. Someone who's nasty, and that's why we love Mike Tyson. And when you jumped on top of the cage after you beat Whittaker the first time, you immediately pointed at
family first. My family was right there. I blew them kisses, and I was like, "You
Costa,
fuck you, piece of shit." And he starts talking all this shit with his Ricky Martin. Sure, sorry, I keep using Ricky Martin as like
Ricky Martin's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a beautiful motherfucker.
But he does look like him a little bit.
Yeah, so I just use that. Sorry, Ricky. But yeah, and I started going at him and all this shit. But that was, I guess, me setting the fight up already. I was doing Flagrant 2 the other day in New York, and they played back a clip where I said early on, like, I want to fight this guy. You know, when everyone was thinking like he was this Adonis, put him on a pedestal, and I was saying, I want to fight this guy. I'm gonna fuck him up. I feel like that's the same thing with Chimaev right now. Everyone's doing the same thing and just riding off that, and that's due credit to him. But I like when people wake that side of me up. It's in there. I know it's in there, my dark side, but I just never tap into it because I can't live in that place for too long. If not, it'll consume me. And when it consumes me and it starts to seep over into my, I guess, regular life.
Do you become a bit more...
bad things happen.
Like bad-tempered and irritable?
I'm just not as me to be around, not as fun to be around. Put it that way. Yeah, you can't redline it all the time. I can't be this guy who's always just angry at the world and just like, I want to fight everyone. I want static, because then you just attract bullshit into your life. Trust me, I've been there. I've been in the guy who stays in that shadow self and just like always looking for something. Because then guess what? You'll find. I know I'm very good at manifesting. So if I stay in that headspace too often, and I'm always looking for a fight, and I have to. This is why I don't have to be this alpha guy who tries to like, those guys. You come in the room and they shake your hand and try and like. I don't try any of that. I don't have to prove how tough I am. That's why I can have French tips and get pearls.
You got lovely nails, mate.
Thank you. Very sexy. First time I got these, man, I got distracted with them.
Bro,
every time I texted, every time.
What kind of watch is that?
That's a Rollie.
Fuck me.
Yeah. It's
God almighty. That's beautiful.
Presidential. Might get another one when I go back to LA.
You're living the good life right now, huh?
I'm enjoying myself. This is all before the new fucking deal, by the way. This is all before the new deal. Better. Yeah. This is like, people think like they're going to start saying, oh, he's done this now. I'm like, no, this is all before the new deal. Yeah. I get well looked after, like financially, because I have one of the smartest men I know with money behind me, and that's my father. He is helping me learn how to flip my money the right way, so that way I'm put on game, and at the same time I can stay ahead of the game. I don't want to be in one of these bad statistics you hear about when it comes to athletes, and I never will be, knock on wood.
Well, we have something in common, because as soon as I got money, I bought a McLaren too.
Hey, man.
But I had to sell mine because the tax man needed some money. When I seen that, I was like, that's my guy right there. How are you enjoying the car?
I love
still riding?
Of course, 720 years. I call him Kurama. It's named after the nine-tailed demon fox from Naruto. So, it just somehow I went to the store. I kind of made them and Lamborghini bid against each other.
Wow.
Because in my head, so coming up as a kid, I had this vision of like a Batmobile. I wanted a matte black Aventador Lamborghini. But then when I got inside, I could only sit like this tall.
Yeah.
I couldn't fully sit up properly unless I took the roof off. But then the McLaren, I could sit up.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Properly. And
your legs are right the way down.
All the way, exactly. Yeah. So then I was like, But then I kind of I don't know, man. I'm looking at this Lamborghini next door. And I go to Lamborghini. I was like, I don't know, man. I'm looking at this McLaren next door. So I made them have a little bit of a bidding war. But I was gonna pick the McLaren anyway because I fit better in there. Still love that car. Still ride it. But I just ride it. I'd ride it on my days when I'm feeling myself, If I'm not in the mood that day, I don't want to be stared at. I don't drive that car. I drive my low-key car.
Yeah, it's not a car for anxiety. That's for sure.
When you're anxious, the worst.
Yeah, man. If you don't want to be looked at.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm taking Reptar out today.
Do you ever have anxiety or anything like that?
Of course, yeah. Everyone does. There's a spectrum of, anxiousness. Some people have, say, just critical, crippling anxiety. Yeah. There's zero, and there's those who feel nothing of that sort. But I feel like we all just, depending on where we are in life, we can, kind of like I always say this, if you don't look after your physical health, what's going to happen? You're going to get physically ill. Same thing with your mental health. So we all have the spectrum of our physical health, and we all like to be balanced here and zero. But then if you're feeling really good, putting on the right feel in your body, you're going to lean on this side. But then you start putting the wrong shit in your body and not looking after yourself, you're going to go this side. So same thing with our mental health. And there's days, the last time I can remember was end of last year somewhere. I was just driving. I felt it was a nice day. I thought, drop top therapy. I hop in the car, and then before I knew it, I was driving, and I was just like, fuck, what is that? Is everyone looking at me? And I just put the roof up. I put the roof up, and then it happened to be a traffic jam on the motorway, and I was just like, fuck. And I'm just in there, and I could just feel, you just feel it, you know. And then people
sometimes it's not even real though as well. Yeah, I'm sure that it is you as well.
Yeah, but I can, you can feel it when people are looking at you, and I'm just like, it's not even them looking at me. It's for me at that time. I remember it's just a perception, and I'm bigger than that. I'm better than that. But where my headspace was at, it was just a perception. Like, oh, what's that person thinking? What's that person thinking? And I'm just like, I just want to go home. And then someone will beep up and like, hey, stop in there. Or you drive, hey. And I'm a big fan. I'd be like, hey, what's up, man? Thank you. Yeah. And I just have this, not a scowl, but I just have this like look on my face. But I'm just like, oh, just get me home.
It's weird though, because to me, anxiety kind of comes out of.
What gets you anxious?
I think the idea of going outside when I've been in a lot. Because we work in here for hours and hours and hours sometimes.
Really?
And then I'm like, I just don't want to go out.
Have you been inside? Like,
No.
Okay.
My dad was a lot, and his dad was.
Yeah.
So I don't know if
Broke
that's
the curse.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
I definitely have that. Definitely don't want to go to prison feel.
Yeah.
But with you, I guess people see you as this fearless guy who literally does one of the most insane jobs ever. So the idea that you would have those same feelings is quite something. Yeah, exactly.
I'm human. Like, certain things get me anxious. Same thing. So we've had this whole bullshit now with COVID, right? So after the Costa fight, we go back home. We have to quarantine for 2 weeks in the managed isolation facility or whatever. I've been only lucky to do 4. My coach usually has done like 9 of them.
Jesus.
So, you know, he'd go corner Alex Volkanovski for a title fight, come back home, go into one of these managed isolation places for 2 weeks, and then get out, see his family, his kids at the gym, blah, 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 and then have another one of us fight, maybe me or, I don't know, Kai, fuck off again, come back, and he's done it 9 times. I'll tell you one thing. I kind of like them only for the fact that after the fight, I get to just be alone for a little bit. But then when I get out, it's too much for me. So I'll get out. What do you do to prisoners when you want to punish them? You isolate them. So this is managed isolation. And then when I get out, because people don't care. Oh my God, Israel, stop it. Oh my God. And they just come at you with like level 10 energy. And I'm just at a 2 or 3 idling. I'm just like, hey, what's up, man? One thing I learned now, an epiphany I had before the first Rob fight, was I don't have to match people's energy. Because back in the day,
you don't want to disappoint them, right?
Exactly. I feel like, oh, if I didn't match their energy, it would be a shit experience for them. But I'm like, I don't care. Like, my piece is more important for me. So if you think this is a shit experience because I wasn't like, hey, buddy, how's it going? You know, like, then that's on you. Yeah. So for me, I realize I don't have to match anyone's energy. So if someone comes at me,
if you're going somewhere and doing something, you shouldn't stop that. Like, for example, I was on the way to a train, and this guy was like, "Can I get a photo?" I was going to miss the train. I'm like, "If you can run with me and take a photo, we're good." But I'm not stopping.
Exactly. Yeah. Even at the airport, like people don't care. What do they want? They want to take.
Yeah.
They want to take. Yeah. And it's like, nah. There's only so much I can give. And the rest is for me and those who really matter to me. But then if you give so much to I've seen it happen to so many like actresses, actors, athletes, musicians, where they give so much, or people like, you know, they build like society builds you up on a pedestal just to tear you down. And I've seen it happen to so many people, but I'm like, I'm never going to be one of those statistics. So yeah, I only give so much that I can afford to give, and the rest is for me to do with. And if people are like, oh, but we're fans, we're this and that, I'm like, and a lot of people they're fans, but a lot of people just lie about that shit. A lot of people are even fans just to watch you fail. They want to see the crash, the train wreck, you know. So
half of your followers on Instagram probably want to see you lose.
100%. Yeah, that's right. That. So I followed you since. I'm like, bro, my biggest haters followed me. Yeah. Of course. So it doesn't really mean anything. And it's not like I'm being an asshole or I'm being disingenuous. So I don't appreciate what they do. Sorry. Excuse me. I always have to burp.
I know.
It's not like I don't appreciate the real fans and stuff like that. But it's like, no, if I'm having dinner with my close friends and family, you expecting me to get up from this table, squeeze past all these people to take a photo with you is selfish, I feel. And it's like, you know, just observe, like, oh, he's with his family in a deep moment right now. Let me just leave him be. Let me just enjoy it. Because I've seen that. I've also been that person, and I've done the opposite as well. And I've realized, like, fuck, this is when I was younger, before I had any, like, I guess, etiquette on that kind of stuff. But now that I'm on this side, bruh, trust me, imagine if we're having lunch right now. I would probably, without my security team, we'll get stopped maybe in 10 minutes, 6 times. And the flow of the conversation gets ruined, gets cut off, gets cut short. And it's like, sorry about that. Anyway, what was I saying? Talking, boom. And I'm like, cool. There's a time and place for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Like, when I go where I live with my boys, like, who I've known for years, who are just like, you know, doing regular jobs, I feel like a cunt, to be honest. Like, I'm like, lads, because they remember me from school, and I feel like a dick, you know, because we're taking selfies all night with people.
One time, Joey, one of my friends, the cool cat, this is a while ago, years ago, he said, do you realize there's a line of people? I'm like, what do you mean? Because at the club we're at, he says, you realize, like, there's a line of people just waiting to talk to you? Because I don't see it, but apparently there was a line of like 10 people. And then later on that night, he's like, yeah, it's not even fun to go out with you anymore. And that one hit me. That one stuck to me, because it was just like, that's my boy. And he said, it's not even fun to go out with you anymore, because it's like we just hang around and you just take photos.
Entourage type
exactly.
shit.
Yeah, and it's like, no, they want to hang out with me. They want to enjoy my company
They're
as well.
your equal in that relationship.
Yes, exactly. So they want to enjoy that and not just have to like, oh, we have to wait for him to take fucking 15 photos, you know? So things like that, I just feel like have to be sacred and protected, and I'll protect that at any cost now. I am not scared of setting boundaries. Boundaries are big for me. Yeah. Even for these guys who like try and pretend to be fans and they come to the gym I'm training at and say, for example, Houston, and like, oh, I'm a big fan. I'm like, bro, I've seen you for the 4th time this week and you've brought a picture every fucking time. I know what you're doing. And they'll try and, oh, I'm a fan. I'm like, yeah, you might be a fan, but I know what you're doing. You're selling these. But I was like, I've seen your face. And then now they know I think someone gave me a gift on one of the embedders or something, and I really appreciate it. Like, oh, you gave me something. Thank you for that. Now, the next day, someone like, oh, I brought you a gift, and gave me like this sweater. I was like, first off, it's Nike. I'm a Puma. I fuck with Puma, and that's not even my size. But they just, just try and find a way to get over.
That's so weird.
Yeah, very. And then I'll do my bit, but I just tell them that I only sign one thing. I'm not gonna sign 15 fucking things for you because I know what you're doing. And it's not like I'm selfish or whatever. I don't want to give back. I have my way of giving back, but in that way, it's like I feel like they're just taking advantage.
Got a fucking job, man.
Exactly. Thank you, because I know how much they can make off those things.
Fucking right.
Not just me. Yeah. All the fighters there during that week that they track down and get them to sign shit, and they'll come with the audacity of like 20 different things. Like, oh, can you sign this? Oh, I'm such a big fan, and they'll have their speech. But even when I say like, oh, I'll just sign one of these, I'll see one of them sneak their glove to the other friend. Oh, then I hate it when the people bring their kids into it, man. Because I wouldn't say no to kids. And I feel bad because it's like this little girl does not watch the UFC. I know she doesn't watch the UFC.
It's your biggest fan.
Yup.
She's looking at you like she's got no idea who you are.
Some of them I know when they do, and I know like they do watch. But the ones that just look like, what the fuck, daddy? I'm like, okay, sure. But I don't want to make the kid feel bad. Yeah. But I'm like, don't use your kid as a pawn in this fucking little game you're playing, trying to scam
Kanye
people.
West over here.
Yeah. Oh, let's not do that. Man.
Yeah. But so fame is crazy, and yeah, you seem really well equipped to deal with it though.
I've practiced. I literally had all this just like drilled out of my head from the jump. Like before even it all started, before it started to get manifested, I just knew like these are the trappings of fame. These are ways you can fall. And there's a reason you've never seen me on TMZ on some crazy headline. Unlike some people, there's still time. Knock on wood.
Mate, that fucking tweet you put out the other week had me dying on Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah, that was funny. It wasn't even my tweet. Someone sent it to me, and I was like, "Oh, that's funny." So I posted it, and I reposted the original as well. But yeah, I mean, hey, you gotta share the love, right?
Have you ever had any like really weird experiences through being famous, like people waiting for you and stuff like this?
Okay. We walked into a club or a bar one time, and then there's like probably 4 guys and like 2 girls. They were the center of attention, and then I get in there, and the guys are just like, "Oh my God, Stylebender," and then all the attention goes on me, and I could see her from the get-go, like straight up, like, who the fuck's this guy? And then they're showing me love. I'm taking pictures. She comes over like, "Excuse me, like, who are you?" I'm like, oh, "Don't worry about it, man. I'm just killing you." And then, because I didn't give her the response she wanted, she was really adamant, just like, like, yeah, but like, why is everyone fanning over you? Like, who are you? I don't really know who you are. And I was like, baby, I don't know who you are either. And I just like pied her out the way. And then I think that like ate at her, because it was just like, the fuck, like, this guy, how dare he? I was like, I don't know who you are. You don't know who I am. It's fine. I don't care that you don't know who I am. Your boys obviously like me, and I could probably steal them off you right now if I wanted to. Because I think it's just the fact
it's an attention thing, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
she's jealous.
Exactly.
That's so weird.
So for me, it was just, that was just a way of reminding her, just like, know your fucking place, bitch. Sit the fuck down.
Yeah.
In a nice way.
In the nicest way.
Yeah.
Of course.
Respectfully.
Respectfully. Yeah. Shut the fuck up. You were talking about visualization and stuff like that. That fascinates me, because it's something that so many successful people do, and regular people, I think, they don't see the value in it. But how has it helped you in specific cases, do you think?
There's levels, man. Yeah. There's levels to the point where in my life, even right now, some of the things I've materialized that don't have to do with fame, that just has to do with my life personally, that I'm just like, how the fuck did I get here? How the fuck did I make that happen? Because you have to be crazy almost. I have a really wild imagination. So My parents, like, you know, although I had toys and stuff as a kid, there was a certain age my dad was kind of like, right, you know, academics is number one now. Fuck all this play shit, all this toy shit. So my dad didn't believe in
how old were you
figures.
then? About 5?
Yeah, Nigerian parents, 5, 6.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, so my dad didn't believe in toys. He believed in books.
Okay.
So as a kid, and I'm dyslexic, I would be reading, studying for like hours after school sometimes, you know, come home, do my homework, and I have to study for like 2 hours. It got to the point after like maybe 10, 15 minutes, I wouldn't even be reading absorbing the words on the page. I would just be looking at the lines and just daydreaming about something else. And I'll look at the book for the amount of time I should have, that page, and turn it, look at that page for the right amount of time. And it just became a habit, and I'll just be in my head on some wild adventures that happened that day or that what tomorrow might bring, or just whatever. I just create whatever I wanted in my head. And that's one thing people forget, is that you can create whatever you want. I can create any reality that I want, and I have. It doesn't just happen like that overnight, but it's just this constant, it's like drilling. It's like drilling when you constantly manifest. It goes to the point that it just becomes second nature. My McLaren, having a sports car. When I was driving my teammate's car, Blood Diamond, he moved to China, right? So I didn't have a car. He lent me his car. It was this beat-up Honda, and it was a stick shift, a manual. So whenever I would drive it and I would shift the gear from 1 to 2 or 2 to 3, I'd shift and I'd just do this.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I'd do this. And it just became second nature. Yeah. Because I was manifesting having a sports car one day. I don't even use the paddle shifts unless I want to drop shift once in a while and let a motherfucker know.
You just sit it on automatic.
Yeah, but once in a while I just drop. But yeah, but that was me just doing all that just to like put it out there in the universe and get my body ready for it and just really visualize it. It gets to the point like my walkout this past weekend when I got to the arena, I did my walkout in the ring announcement and all that. I visualized it. When I was doing that walkout, it was just like, okay, I can see everything. It was empty arena, but I could feel everything, and I saw where the people were and the signs and the hands and security, the prep point. I knew where everyone's gonna be, and yeah, it just gets to the point that it's just you look crazy doing it because I'm dapping imaginary people up, you know. But in my head, I'm making it happen. The brain doesn't realize what's real and what's not real.
Are you good at shadow boxing for this reason?
Oh, bro,
I thought you would be.
Yeah, like I can shadow box, and when I'm shadow boxing, you almost think I'm fighting someone invisible, because I'm literally dodging their attacks. I'm taunting them. I'm letting them know what's up, and I'm talking as well. Even fight week, whenever like maybe on Thursday, yeah, that's the last last training before the fight, really, just to cut weight, which isn't it. But then like Eugene has a shadow box for 5 minutes at the end and just visualize. Even has it in the
I find that quite difficult myself, like, because I only like started boxing a couple of years ago, and I remember feeling I feel like a damn fool here. What the hell am I doing walking around here? I throw punches at no one. But like the best fighters that I watch, they do look like that. And this is the weird thing is people forget martial arts is an art, and you are in there creating.
Facts.
And I feel like the best strikers, especially, I'm not really that clued up on the jiu-jitsu game by comparison, but the strikers. Like McGregor, I've heard him say time and time again, I'm creating in there. That's the difference between me and these other guys. The times that they're doing what they're drilled, but like you were saying at the start of the podcast about how I wish I'd just been more fluent and creative, and rather than stick to a game plan. Yeah,
like there's a balance of doing that and sticking to the game plan. But I was on the game plan, it was working. But then when I deviated from the game plan a little bit, and that was working, you know, that's what dropped him. I should have just been like, right, trust my instinct, because I did it the first time I fought him. I was like, oh, this is working better. I'm gonna stick with this. And my corner trusts me enough wholeheartedly to know, like, okay, we can just create we can create a game plan on the fly.
Yep.
And we still have the plan A to fall back on. But I was just adamant, like, oh, you know what? Let me just stick with plan A on this one. You know, but yeah, it's about creating moments. It's about creating an art, like a masterpiece, a moment in there. And honestly, if you shadow box the right way, when you start to like get into that zone, you almost feel like you have to almost, I guess, be crazy in a way. You just have to like suspend your belief of what reality is and just standing there. I'm just walking them down like, what's up? Pop, pop, pop. Moving out the way, sprawling. Sometimes I'll take a few hits just to mimic it. And then your brain doesn't know, man. Honestly, your brain had, because they've even done tests with these, like, I think free throw shooters or whatever, where they make them actually practice free throws, and the set of people actually just imagine doing free throws, And apparently the ones who visualized doing the free throws scored better in the test than the ones who actually practiced the free throws.
Wow.
Because the power of the mind, it literally is...
So when you watch Floyd do his pad work, in no way does that resemble a real fight, but
Patterns.
he is creating those patterns, isn't he, in his brain, so that when it is in a real fight, everything will be perfect, really, just faster and more intense. And when we were talking about the martial arts side of things, I think that's why you versus Anderson was a beautiful fight to watch.
I loved it.
It might not have had.
It was boring for some people.
I thought it was beautiful.
It was same.
It was two artists in there creating a masterpiece.
Yes, honestly, that was one of those fights for me. Like the way that fight progressed, it was just like it got worse for him. But at the same time, he still looked good. He still looked like, man, I'm hanging with the future of this division. You know, I'm able to hang in there with
you
them.
Both won,
and exactly
in that regard.
In the second round, he gave me trouble, and he almost tried to finish me, and I had to kind of like regroup myself because it was an offbeat jab. It was Southpaw. It was an offbeat jab. Boom, and I was like, oh shit, he got me that one. Boom, oh, he got me another one. Shit, and then he noticed it. And then I think he noticed it because I did something to my eye, and he's just, the spider. He started to try and like finish me. And that fight was just a beautiful chess match, a beautiful exchange of just that lingo, that striking lingo between a master and a guy who was learning to be a master, And then the moment after the fight, how he just pretty much just said, this is yours now. And that was just some like
powerful,
beautiful moments. And I was just like, oh my God. I didn't even know how to contain myself in that moment because for me, it was like, Kobe playing against Jordan or Allen Iverson playing against Jordan, because that's the guy I grew up watching. Guy like looked at and I was like, man, I'm skinny and black. I can fuck people up. I want to be like that guy. And I want to see like that fight. I never thought would materialize, but when that opportunity came, it was after I fought Brunson, and I went to Ireland for my friend's wedding. And on the way to Ireland, I think, or maybe a week before, then they were like, I was meant to have this Europe trip. So this is my first time in London. It's meant to happen then, 2019 or 19. It was meant to happen. It just delayed. But now I'm finally here. But I still don't regret it. I don't regret the chance to dance with a legend like that. Like that's something that I created a few iconic moments in that fight. Like obviously at the end of the first round when I hit him with the Rock Lee stance, people were still like, well, I don't know why you did that, but somehow that's just like the image, boom, like
that'll
forever.
Be on when you're inducted into the Hall of Fame. That'll be played. It's just one of those moments, isn't it? And for us as fans, it was great as well, because to me, letting Anderson Silva go is it's so sad, because he created some of the most iconic moments in MMA history. And it was almost like, oh, we can let him retire now. It's all right because we got the new guy. And it was a great passing of the torch. What I want to talk to you about the Three Kings, because I've had Usman on my podcast.
Oh yeah,
we've got Francis lined up, so I'm collecting you guys. And I love this. It's like some pro wrestling thing. It's so fun. What is it like being a part of something that's iconic now?
Honestly, I'm able to I could remove myself from the situation and look at it objectively, because it's hard to sometimes when you're in it, when you can't see the forest for the trees because you're so close to it right now. But I know maybe 15, 20 years from now, they're going to look back on these times and be like, fucking hell, look at what these three did in their time when they were, there's less than 23 African fighters in the UFC, far less than that. And you've got three of us that are champions at the same time, defending our belts and ruling our divisions crazy with iron black fists.
Dominating. Yeah, it's not like someone fluked the belt out of nowhere.
Nah, we came in, we took, and that's the thing that's beautiful. I keep saying like we're taking gold back to Africa, and that's what we're going to do when Dana decides to put a show on in one of the great countries of Africa, one of the great countries there. But like, it's just in time. Right now, I feel like they've got the ball rolling because Dana's mentioned it a little bit more now, saying that, he wants to get this done before he's done with his time in the game.
It has to be done.
It's going to be done.
They
right
fucked up with not having Conor do a stadium in
Ireland.
Dublin, rather. Yeah,
he did the Brandao fight in Dublin, but it wasn't a stadium.
But he wasn't a stadium. Conor then.
Yeah,
like he was on the way up.
He was. You look at the way that crowd reacted after that KO. You know what would have happened in the stadium. Imagine like Aldo versus Conor 2 at the peak of that time. And
would have been amazing.
This place would have shut down.
And of course, obviously, there's like, I think Dana's a big boxing fan, and there's the Rumble in the Jungle and all of that. He wants to have a moment like that. It'd be crazy not to do it. No, obviously, some of that rests on, I guess, Francis and his contract situation. Credit to Francis. The guy bet on himself and came away with everything.
Beautiful.
Holds all the cards now, so they need to sign him. Without him, like, I know you can put Jones versus Stipe, but no one's ever going to look at them as the champion.
Nah, of course, it'd be stupid. Even like Cyril Gans, I think he's the second best heavyweight in the world. You know, but if somehow he becomes the champ, then if Francis leaves, then it's going to be like, well, you know, I mean, everyone knows. It's like, oh, but Francis beat him. So that's why I like what you said. Like, he holds all the cards now, you know. The ball's in his court, and yeah, he's going to play his way.
The fact that he held his nerve as well when apparently he was hit with a lawsuit on the way to the octagon, and also like they were playing some games with this guy.
Of course,
he's got nerves of steel, Francis. And then he had knee injury as well.
You haven't met him yet?
I haven't. No.
Yeah, when you meet him, you'll realize, because he's a gentle giant. He commands so much respect when he walks in a room, but when he speaks, you just know he's a big friendly guy when he's your friend. Yeah, when he's your friend. And I've been fortunate enough not to be on the receiving end of any of the other stuff, but yeah, he's a guy that, because even I talked to him a week before the fight, we talked on the phone about this kind of stuff, and what he was going through, and also he let me know about his MCL, and I was like, damn. But I never lost faith in him. The whole time I was like, he's gonna get this done one way or another. And then the way he got it done was even more. With wrestling,
bullied the guy.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Who would have thunk it? Like the way he just took him down at will when he was ready.
He ripped him down as well. Like
the first one is the guy Cyril missed a teep, and then he caught it, and this like almost WWE body slammed him, like some kind of Batista bomb or something.
It was
crazy, man.
And then obviously there's Kamaru Usman, who is reigning in the welterweight division, now knocking people out, looking like the complete fighter.
Levels.
It's fantastic to watch, and I've seen separate footage of you guys going back to Africa. I looked at what Khabib's doing in Russia, starting his promotion.
FC.
I was like, if these three guys started a promotion up in Africa, imagine the business that you guys could create.
No, I mean,
could be sick. Just putting that out there.
Oh no, don't worry, it's already been put out there. Yeah? Francis is already, like I said, I talked to him a week before the fight.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah, we've talked about some things, but these is need to know basis. But yeah, right now though, what we're doing right now is very important for the game, because, like I said, there's people that look up to us from where we're from, and they see themselves being represented on the world stage, and then they realize like they can do this too. But the thing is, we have to do this and then make it a better playing field for them when they come up, so they don't get taken advantage of.
Because there's not really much of a ladder, because you know, Francis's story of how he escaped Africa is quite something. But obviously you and Kamaru grew up in different countries after moving. But there needs to be a ladder for these kids to apply their talent. And what is it like when you're looking in these young kids' eyes and they're touching the belt, and I've seen all this footage. What is it like for you when you see the way they're looking at you? Does that hit you a bit?
It does. In the moment, it does hit me, and it's like it's almost surreal, because I'm just like, man, these people look up to me in a way that I'm like, it's back in the day, there was a little bit of imposter syndrome where it's just like, why they revere me this way? Like, they don't know me, they don't, and you kind of feel like you don't deserve it, you know what I mean? Yeah. But then when the kids that do know me look up to me, and like there's the kid from my gym, one of my I guess a friend, his son, who looks up to me, Harrison. He adores me, and I can see that he is a kid that they're the ones I do this for. You know, I do this for everyone else who really appreciates me and stuff, but the ones that really know me, because Harrison, Spencer, and Zion, I believe that those are the three kids. Their dad still lets them watch me, even though I come across this way, and I'm not the most fake or squeaky clean, trying to act like, you know, that kind of guy. Yeah. And they appreciate me for me, and they're inspired by me, and like I said, they look up to me. I never want to let them down. I'm not no one's role model, because I think Tupac said it best. Those are two fake words: playing a role, being a model. But
Fact.
these kids are like, they're looking up to me in a sense that like, I never want to let them down. I never want them to look at me and hang their head in shame. You know what I mean? So that's why I do what I do, but still doing it authentically me without compromising myself. Because, man, people are like, oh, but, you know, these kids look up to you. I'm like, oh, raise your own kids. You know what I mean? I'm going to live my life. If you don't like the way I'm running things, let them find some new role models.
Yeah.
Because I'm not no one's role model, because I've never been fake, ever. I like the ring, by the way.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Skull.
Yeah, I had that made in New Zealand, mad thing. Yeah, it was made by those, I'll show you.
Can I have a look?
Those, you know, those guys who've been covered in tattoos and shit.
Yeah, there's a few of us.
Yeah. They're like, is it like part of a tribe or something like that, I think?
Oh, no, there's a few of them, covered in tattoos.
Yeah, like they got tattoos on their faces and shit like that.
Tamoko, yeah. No, that's the Modi people.
Life after fighting.
Ah.
Have you thought about that and what that involves?
Yep. Thing is, I actually just want to start a family. That's me. But
you had any luck with the ladies?
Nah.
You struggling? I think you could be struggling.
It's hard, man. It's hard out here in the floor pimp, man. Nah, I mean, thing is, for me,
What's your type to look at? Like, in terms of, if we were to go like, that's an Izzy
I don't have
Adesanya.
a type.
No type?
Nah, I don't have a type.
Keep it open.
I like what I like. But for me, it's just, I mean, put it in my position. Like I said, it's hard to find people who really want you, I guess, for you, or want to see you win, and also have someone who doesn't want to compete with you. That's a weird one I've had.
No, because women want to be the star of the show generally. No offense, women.
Oh, trust me.
But it's true.
Trust me. When you have someone trying to compete, I'm like, what? This is not a competition. It's trying to be.
It's not a competition. I'm the champ. Come on.
First of all, you lose. But yeah,
the men want me more than you, babe. Come on.
But it's never a competition, and you just, for me, I just want to be happy, and I want to be able to, like, I don't want this kind of stress on my family, because I have, okay, so this kid right here, right? He's my background. This is Camille. I'm like his uncle.
Wow.
See, it looks good on me, right? Yeah, being a dad looks good on me. But Camille is just the gem of a kid because of his parents. His dad's a producer, and his mom works from home, and they've spent pretty much his whole life with him. Very few days, or maybe, I'm gonna guess, less than 3 weeks away from him, and he's like 4 now.
You can't really do that in the fight game now.
While you're fighting.
Yeah, so you rather
You know what
wait.
I mean? So I want to be done, and you know, the thing is the foundation. I see the difference. I don't want to be that dad that like, cool, I'll be back, see you, bye. Or I don't want to be that dad that like, you know, the generic, you know, you wake up at 7 a.m., you say hi to your kids, and then you're off before they go to school. You come back home, you spend maybe an hour with them, and then they go to bed, and then, you know.
It compromises the fighter as well. We look at Conor McGregor, he's not been the same. Like in that last fight in the weigh-in, and he's waving to his kids, and he's just not in that frame of mind of a killer. Whereas like years ago, he's screaming like a psycho.
Yeah.
He's not waving to his kids on the way. And I always, when he did that, I was like, oh, because I know Dustin's a family man, but some people find it easier to switch off.
Yeah.
And he was trying to do both roles at the same time, and I don't think that was
like,
good.
if you want to talk about the dark side, like there's a place I have to go to. Like everyone who's close to me knows how I am, and people have, like, my mom has accepted it now. She understands, like 3 weeks out from the fight, if I'm not picking up her calls, don't take it personal. They understand, because I have to kind of go bush within. I start to find myself disassociating or detaching from my loved ones because I feel like I'm going to war.
Because you're going to be in a reptilian state of mind, right? You can't be in that lovey, hey, mom,
all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm not. They understand that my mom doesn't get irritated or take it personal. So even my dad, they understand, like, okay, he's going to war, and I don't like to see my family too much before the fight. I never thought about that. That's interesting. That's a good way to look at it, but we'll find out. But yeah, for me, I just don't want to have all this shit to deal with when I do that. I want to be able to be like, what do you want to do today, and just do whatever the fuck he or she wants to do that day. Apart from that, I want to have my own production company, definitely, and I'm going to start some crazy projects and whatnot. I'm going to work from home just so I can, because it's that foundation, man. Like I said, Camille is just he's a lovely boy because he just has a solid foundation, and I can tell that it's because the parents were right there, just instilling good, just solid morals and just love, not like absent and then just he's off to a daycare or this or that. But yeah, those are two things I definitely want to do, and other things as well. I want to get into roller skating. I don't know why.
Floyd does that,
Yeah, but I want to do it like, say, like, a guy like Long Beach Griffey. He's a comedian on YouTube, and he does it in a way where you're just dancing around. Because I can dance, so I'm like, if I could dance on skates, I'd be sick.
Didn't you used to dance like pro?
I still do, yeah. But I just don't battle anymore. But I can, I fuck it up.
I seen you and Romero doing a little.
Yeah. Oh, that was a little something. That was light. I barely tried. The belt was too heavy, so I couldn't really get it off. But
you got the belt with you?
Nah, actually, I don't even carry it around.
Really?
It's not really because I don't get attached to it. A lot of people, like example, Kobe, when he had his belt, he was walking around with it. I understand that. I get it. I did that a couple of times, but I just. What did that Mike Tyson? This is garbage. This is. Have you seen that when he does that? This is garbage. I don't think it's garbage yet because I still think it's the significance of that belt is important to me for what I'm doing, but I'm not attached to it. I'm not attached to it like to the sense where it's like, this is my identity. This is all I am. I'm the champ. I'm like, I don't care.
That's healthy. That I think you avoid the pitfalls of a lot of champions when you.
Told you, I've seen it all.
Yeah, you realize to be like every time I fight someone, it's to challenge for the title rather than to.
I don't even have the belt with me. It's whenever I'm gonna guess it's in Eugene's house somewhere, like in a box. Like whenever maybe like when the camp starts, that's probably the last time I'll see the belt. I'll probably see it maybe when I get home for some media stuff. It'll be at my house for a little bit, but then when it's time for the next camp, then I just go back to the gym and I'm like, yep, here you go. And then that's when Eugene knows, like, he switched. Now it's time to let's play the game.
When you were talking earlier about having a family and all of that, and you obviously getting all this attention from these girls, and girls are going to look at you. You're a prize,
I'm a fucking paycheck now.
Absolutely,
have
bro.
a baby by me, baby.
Be a millionaire.
Write a check before the baby come. Who the fuck cares? I'm stanky rich. Oh my god.
It's true, man. That's what they're going to look at you like. You got that Rolex on.
I'm not trying to get trapped by no one.
Yeah. So how does a girl separate herself from the pack to prove that she isn't one of those? Because that's tricky for them as well.
You try to give them game.
Yeah, I'm trying to help some ladies out here.
You don't need this.
One of them's watching, and I'm going to give them the game plan right now.
How do you trap Izzy, the style bender?
But it must be hard though, because you got so many different women wanting the same thing from you, and they're just women, so it's very hard to stand out.
Yeah, I guess.
What was the last thing a girl did that you thought, you're a bit different? You
care. Gave a fuck. Like, actually, not really trying to find a way to care about what they're gonna get out of it, but actually just giving a fuck, just caring about someone. I think it's just even just not about me. It's just about being nice, caring about someone else. When I see that in someone, even my friends, if I see my friends, when I see them just showing love to each other, it makes me feel good inside, and just like, fuck, I'm so glad I'm part of this crew. So, yeah. But I'm
you have to understand your needs as well, I'm guessing, because your life is so fucking complex.
Oh yeah,
you can't be expected to just be like there beck and call.
Oh no, yeah, definitely. I've had that in the past where someone's like, I need to be the most important thing in my person's life. I'm like, that ain't happening right now. That's definitely not happening right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm happy with myself. That's the thing. First thing is just being happy with myself and being okay with where I'm at. I'm not trying to look for anything, because if you go looking around, that's when you find the wrong things. Trust me, I've been there before too. But at the moment, I'm just happy where I'm at. I'm enjoying my freedom. Yeah, and I'm in London town. Fuck the things. What's the paintings like, as they say? Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's the one. Like.
Yeah, what's the paintings like in there?
One of the things that my editor, Gio, asked me to ask you about, because he's a huge fan of you, shout out Gio, conspiracy theories.
Ooh, tinfoils.
Do you?
Where's the? Are they listening?
Yeah.
Is anyone listening?
Are they going to get us? Is he Adesanya? Because you're a smart guy as well. You got a science degree, something like that, right?
Me? Who said that?
Computer science, isn't it?
I did computer graphic design, but I didn't get my degree because I dropped out to go be a UFC fighter or some shit.
You can make our thumbnails.
It worked out all right.
Yeah. So any conspiracy theories that you're like, you know what, there might be some truth in that. You got like the moon landing, 9/11.
There's so many.
All of these things.
Well, fucking hell, you want to go deep. Okay, put it this way.
I'm a believer in some of them, I've got to admit. Like
the start of this pandemic, I was just like, what the fuck? Because I was scared.
Oh yeah.
So when the first lockdown hit, it felt like the purge. And I remember like
New Zealand was pretty strict as well.
Very strict. That's why we kicked COVID's ass, and then
that went well.
We just delayed that
Yeah.
shit. Fucking look at us now, the laughing stock of the world. Ha! Let's laugh at us again.
Yeah, God, that woman, she ain't.
We're all like this. Oh yeah, we can have R&V, 50,000 people.
Yeah.
Now look at us. Yeah, we're behind now. It's so stupid. Like some of the stuff they're implementing. But conspiracy theories. Look, I know aliens exist. I know definitely, because even the FBI or whoever have been coming out and being saying like, oh, we've been in possession of unidentified flying objects for a few years now. It's like, oh, you know shit.
That Area 51 stuff. You had the guy who came out of there, Bob Lazar.
Bob Lazar talking about all the
craft.
anti-gravity moving thing. The way he explained it, I remember listening to that and I was like, what the fuck? And you know, he's not lying. You know, he believes what he's saying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there was a comedian, I can't remember which comedian said this the best, but he's like, do you lie to your kids? And everyone's like, yes. He's like, why? Like, to protect them. It's like, what the fuck do you think the government would do to protect you then? Don't you think they'll lie to you about a few things?
Yeah.
Maybe not everything, but...
And there's a lot of pilots who've came out and been like, by the way, I've seen objects just move in ways that are it's just gone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And look, these, go back to 1905 and show someone one of these and then just play a video. You'd be burned at the stake. You'd be a witch or a wizard or whatever.
Yep.
So there's things we don't understand yet, but because we haven't been shown it, so we can't fathom like this is even possible. Like when Bob Lazar was talking about, you know, putting a bowling ball in the middle of a bed or mattress and then putting a marble on one side and then it rolling down. That's how the force of this thing works. Like it bends space and time that way. And I'm like, it's like mental parkour for me, because you know I can see parkour, see someone run on the roof and pop, 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 poop, gainer, this and that, but I can't recreate it.
Yep.
I can just watch it and observe, and I understand what he's doing. So when someone like Bob Lazar or Neil deGrasse Tyson or Jordan Peterson is talking about something, I can mentally just like, I follow what you're saying, but then like I just try to recreate what Bob Lazar said, and I probably butchered it, but it's something with a bowling ball in the bed, and I remember how he described it, but it's like mental parkour, but it's because we don't understand it
When
yet.
he says it makes sense. When we try and repeat it, we sound
blah blah
fucking
blah,
crazy.
science and gravity, bed sheets and mattress and marbles, and you get the ball and it rolls down and the aliens
Sounds like
come out the hole.
insane, bro.
Yeah, so I know aliens do exist, but when the start of this pandemic happened, I remember like it was just felt like the Purge. Even at one point there was a car, a station wagon rolling by my house, blasting loud music, and I was just like, I looked through and I locked the doors, shut the windows, turned the lights off, and I got my weapons and stuff, just getting ready, because it was scary. But then a lot of the stuff that I went down the rabbit hole on then, not everything came true, but a lot of the stuff now is like, okay, it's fact now that this was made in a lab in Wuhan.
Yep.
When I said that, I don't know, 2020, people were like, stupid, blah blah blah.
It came from bats
and pangolins, because fucking Stan Marsh fucked the pangolin or some shit in South Park. But yeah, now this is fact. But the same people now is like, oh, I guess it's facts.
Do you have any reservations about some of the security measures that they're doing in regards to like ID cards and vax
of
cards
course.
and all of
They're
that?
not going away.
New Zealand and Australia, they some of the things we've seen the cops doing over there, you know, it made me go, fuck going there in my life.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't do much for tourism, let me tell you. Because I was like,
oh, no, back in the day.
your cops were crazy.
Like 2 years ago when it was on New Zealand clean and green.
Beautiful.
And,
I was like,
that was the
I wanna
image
go
we
there.
had. Now
Yeah,
now
you've
that's
ruined
all
that.
gone down. We didn't ruin it. The government
ruined it. Yeah,
they
for
ruined
sure.
it. So, but yeah, like even now you look at what's happening in Wellington and New Zealand, it looks like America in 2020. Like the cops are spraying people and these riots and protests. I was like, well, we just delayed all this shit. It's like the trickle down effect. Somehow New Zealand's always slow. Like Internet Explorer is loading. It's like, yo, catch up. Like even now they're trying to implement this whole thing with the sit down at the table. You can take your mask off, and when you get up, you have to put your mask on.
Bro, man.
And it's like they know that doesn't work anymore. I don't know why why are we so slow? Don't they have the internet? These old heads, are they still using fucking dial-up Windows 95? Can't they catch up? But anyway. A lot of stuff that's happening. I just feel like the whole vaccine cards thing, it's definitely if it's for our safety, there's lots of other ways you can definitely, or our health. If it's for our health, there's a lot of other things you can do to improve our health. But you look at what they're doing in China now with social credit scores. You know, these are things, I don't know if you're aware of, where it's like if you buy, I think what they did, they put something out recently in Canada that they can stop your bank transactions or your bank account like that if you say fund like a GoFundMe for some
a protester.
Exactly.
Yeah, so those lorry drivers.
If you funded them, they can just shut your bank account
with
without a court
no
order.
warning. With you don't need any
court
proof.
Order, nothing.
You don't need proof.
That's crazy.
Like that's where we're at right now.
Say that in 2020, and people would be like, "Oh, you're fucking kidding." Nah, they'll fucking never do that.
Yeah,
and now
literally.
look, this is like something that's happening now in Canada. They just kind of said that, but it's gonna trickle down, and then it's all. This is what happens when people wanna. They've done this so many times in history. When you want to take people's rights away, you just push a little bit till they get fed up and you stop there. And then when they go back to doing their things, you push a little bit more. And then
you always do it in the name of safety as well. Always, this is for your own good.
But from who? From what?
Yeah, from them, unfortunately.
Who's them? Is that the new pronouns?
Yeah.
They, them, Z. Fuck, we can't win. Crazy times, man.
You've been watching anything good on Netflix lately?
Me?
Yeah.
Ooh,
you seen
what
that, Tinder Swindler? Anything like that?
Honestly, so I've watched it, but my guys haven't watched it yet. So we've been trying to watch it this whole trip because I want to watch it again. I said to them, I was like, yo, this is fucked. It's crazy. I don't know how this guy pulled it off, and he's a piece of shit for doing it. But I am impressed. I can't lie. I'm impressed. I'm like 10 million.
Back, the men got one back. Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't know how. I'm like, I'm still like, he's a piece of shit. Like, cause some of the ladies, like, he put them in debt and he's not spent any jail time.
Oh no, because
that's another thing.
It's
like,
borrowed money. He's free.
I don't understand. And then somehow he's now got a Hollywood agent that he's trying to do a dating show from what I've seen.
He's doing Cameo. You know where they do the
Cameo,
birthday messages?
Yep. And he's
just bought a Ferrari, this guy.
He's a villain. He's actually like a legit villain, a super villain. And
even on his WhatsApp messages, you're like, this guy sounds like Scarface.
Yeah.
Like he's got that in him.
Homeless king or some shit he said. But I'm just like, yeah.
Like when he's like, hey baby, and then all of a sudden he's like, you want the war? We got the fucking war.
It sounds like he's got some kind of bipolar.
Oh, yeah.
You can tell he's just like he's. And then when he was sending her those messages like unanswered, like baby, please call me. You know, I'm like, oh my god. But somehow again, I'm impressed. And I'm impressed in the sense that I was like, I don't know how he got away with it. It's like,
well, it's the greed, isn't it? It's like it's when you sell the dream to someone. I just feel like those women were so hell bent on, this is my one opportunity to become a multi-millionaire.
This is how you get trapped.
So I give him everything.
That's how you get trapped.
And I imagine by the time they're on like the third or fourth loan they've taken out, they're like, if I stop now, that means it's not real. So I'm just going to keep going because I can't.
It's almost like some people when they're in a cult and they realize they fucked up, but they're like, no, I can't. I'm going to hold on to my
stick with
I'm going to hold on to my beliefs. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
So you're right. Now he had a system. He this is one of the best ways of manipulation from what I've seen. In my experience, it's emotional manipulation, tugging the heartstrings. So he got them in there with the whole love thing.
My enemies.
Sold them a dream. My enemies are after me. I made a little fucking thing.
I seen that.
Yeah, fuck. It was funny. I thought I was laughing myself. I literally watched that. I was just like, I'm funny.
But this is the thing, right? Like we tried to get one of the ladies on the podcast. We were inquiring, and they were like, no questions at all about why did they not realize in time. And I'm like, the entire documentary, at no point did you say any of these women, why did you do this? Like, it wasn't even put to them. It was just like, we were in love.
And that's what you
all
said.
responsibility from these 30-odd-year-old women is just taken away. And I understand they're victims, but at the same time, like, come on. At least that's the fucking question. But everyone's dancing around the elephant in the room, which is, we were going to get rich. You know what I mean?
I mean, like I said, he sold them a dream. I don't even know how he got his those photoshopped images, those pages online, whatever, but he got it somehow, and he already had a system in place. So it's like a virus. He would latch onto a host, siphon them up. Siphon them up, and then eventually when he's done siphoning that up, then detach, and then find a new host. And then, like I said, he's a piece of shit, but at the same time, I can't lie, I'm impressed. And that, I know they might come for me for that, but hey, bring the smoke.
We got to wrap this up now because Izzy's got a lot of things to be getting on with in London. Got to see the paintings and
the bridge.
And
feels like it's 5 p.m.
Yeah,
is it?
These windows are tinted.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why.
I see. Fuck. I was like, damn, it got dark.
Production, bro. But one last question: how would you like to be remembered?
Ooh, a good cunt. A guy who was just in here having fun, doing his thing for everyone, and left with a smile on his face and a lot of money. Shitload of money.
Shitloads of money.
Bags,
that new contract.
trucks, yes.
And yeah, thanks very much, mate. You're an absolute legend.
Appreciate it.
Huge fan. Can't wait to see all your next fights. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe to his channel.
Freestyle Bender on YouTube, one of the best YouTube channels growing right now. We're only a year strong and we're blowing up.
400K
Freestyle
subs.
Bender. Nah, it's like 700, 800 right now.
Is it?
We're going up, almost a milli.
God almighty.
My man, check it.
Straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah, subscribe.
Easy.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you later. Cheers.
Peace.